man in the sleeping pod was suddenly awakened by an alarm before he could react to what happened. His body was wrapped layer by layer by the AI. Putting on a full spacesuit, then he was ejected, straight into space. When Jeff finally came to his senses, he realized the ship had been hit by something. There were other sleeping pods like his, all ejected into space. But some of them crashed during the ejection, while others like Jeff flew toward nearby planets for safety, but debris was scattered all over space. Many people were destroyed before they reached any planet. Luckily, Jeff's pod stayed stable. It pierced the atmosphere and reached a nearby planet, but the high temperature damaged the pod, and the AI could no longer control the landing within seconds. The pod began to spin out of control. Seeing the ground just a few hundred meters away, Jeff could only open his mouth and brace for impact. Fortunately, the ground was covered with sand. Jeff survived the crash with no major injuries, but the environment of this planet was extremely harsh. Through the pod's glass window, he saw storms whipping up sand and rocks everywhere. Jeff knew he was in for a tough time here, so he quickly sent out a distress signal through the communicator, but after waiting for a long time, there was no response. Just then, the pod suddenly shook, and the system sounded an alarm. The hard landing had damaged the pod structure. It could explode at any moment. Helplessly, he grabbed the window breaker and opened the pod's glass door. But just as Jeff was about to step out, another accident happened. The pod shook again, and his spacesuit got scratched on the way out. Now the oxygen was leaking from his abdomen. Soon, the oxygen level dropped to 42%. Jeff quickly found the repair spray and used it to seal the damage, but even though it was fixed, half of his oxygen was already gone before he could catch his breath. The pod's engine started smoking. Jeff hurriedly crawled out of the pod. But now where should he go? Before he could figure it out, he saw the spaceship he was on had also landed on this planet. Jeff couldn't believe what he saw. As the ship crashed onto the surface, a massive shockwave swept across the Earth. Luckily, he was far enough away, so he wasn't seriously hurt by the impact, but stranded on this desolate planet. Where could he go now? Just when Jeff was lost in thought, he noticed something flickering in the distance. With a try-it-out attitude, he headed toward it, but after only a few steps, he found a crash site with another pod just like his, and even luckier. When he climbed inside, he found an oxygen unit, but when Jeff took it out, he realized it was completely broken. It seemed his only hope was still that flashing light. He continued heading toward it, but Jeff didn't notice. There were strange claw marks on his pod. He dashed through the stormy desert and soon reached the glowing spot. It turned out to be a distress signal made by a teammate. Jeff ran over quickly, telling him about his oxygen being down to 42%. The teammate seemed friendly, said they could share oxygen later, but he had something to finish first. While waiting, Jeff learned their crash wasn't just an accident. It was because the Space Corporation took a cheaper route to cut costs, and now the company had no idea about the crash. Even if they got the signal and sent rescue, it would take at least 18 months to reach this planet. The teammate went on. The ship wouldn't disintegrate easily.